Hi, everyone. My name is Julia,
I'm Katie.
and we're the hosts of the Runways and Byways travel podcast. So, after taking off last week, we're back and with our regularly scheduled episode. And this week, we're actually doing the Europe episode that we've been teasing you with for like 2 months. So, we're really excited to finally be able to do this. Michael wasn't able to join us again today, but we figured might as well just do the episode since you guys have been waiting so patiently. Anything to say, Katie?
Yeah, no, I'm excited. I was just telling Julia before this that Italy has always been a dream of mine, and I've never gone to Spain and France, and I've always wanted to. And I have a trip booked for July to go there. But right now, I don't really know what's going on, if it's just too far away, if I'm just so busy, I can't even contemplate it. But I just feel like I'm not feeling that magic around it. So I'm hoping through this episode that the more I learn about it, that I start to get a little bit more excited.
Yeah, I hope so too. And I do think it probably is a lot of those factors that you said, like stress and that it's so far away. Because I think, me personally, I know when my trips are so far away, I kind of turn it off in my head. So that way I don't get too excited just in case something happens or whatever. I just completely try to not care about it almost.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you do the same thing, but I do that until like a month before, until I know it's actually happening.
Yeah, I do that.
Yeah, so maybe that's what's happening.
Mm,
You don't want to
we'll
get
see.
too excited. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
So today, Katie gave me her itinerary. It's Barcelona, Florence for 2 nights, Santa Margherita in Italy, which I've never heard of actually, so I can't discuss that, but we could talk about it a little. Nice, Marseille, I don't know if I'm saying that right. That's in France. I've never been there either. Naples and Rome. So I'm going to discuss the places that I've been to and show Katie my pictures. I'll put my pictures into the YouTube video so you could see them as well. So if you're listening on the podcast, you may want to switch over to YouTube so you can see the pictures and videos. But if not, we'll still be talking about the places and describing everything. So if you want to stay in your podcast app, that's fine. And yeah, so that's kind of what we're going to be discussing today. But first, we have our usual trivia question. Katie, are you ready for that? Okay. So it is my week for the trivia question. And the question is, what city is nicknamed the vertical city?
Vertical city. Hmm. Honestly, I don't really know. I'm trying to think of cities that have a lot of things going up.
Yeah, you're on the
Like, I
right
mean, I
track.
guess skyscrapers, that kind of thing, but I'm not really sure. I'm gonna have to think about it.
Yeah, think about it.
Yeah, it's a good one.
I think you do have a chance to get it. I will say that.
Okay.
So it is difficult. And I learned this fact like a week ago, actually, because someone that we both know was there maybe a few weeks ago.
Oh,
And
wow.
she posted it and wrote that the nickname of the place is the Vertical City. And I was like, I didn't know that. That's really cool. That makes sense. And so I decided to use that as our question.
Mm.
So I don't even know
Okay,
if I
very
should
good.
I don't even know if I should tell you who it is because then I'm afraid that might give too much away too, even though it probably won't.
I feel like I don't even know who went away.
Should I tell you?
No.
No. Okay. Not
You
that.
tell me after. Tell me at the
Yeah.
time.
I mean, it's not super relevant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it would help you too much if I told you anyways, but might as well
Really?
just, yeah.
Okay.
But it's a place that people vacation to, that this person we both know has vacationed to recently, and it's
Mm.
nicknamed the Vertical City. That's all I'm going to give you right now.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay. So you want to jump right into things?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. So again, your cruise starts in Barcelona, then goes to Florence for 2 nights, then Santa Margherita in Italy, Nice, Marseille, Naples, and then it ends in Rome, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I guess we should start off with Barcelona. And I know you're not too excited about going to Barcelona. You had mentioned to me in the past that you're just whatever about it. But
I mean, I definitely want to go to Spain just to experience the culture, but I'm just not like, it's not like my top, I need to go there kind of thing.
yeah. So I know you mentioned you were only planning on staying like a night or two there, right?
Yeah, just like a night.
Yeah, I mean, I disagree with that. And I mean, hopefully I could change your mind. I think you should give Barcelona more of a shot because I really enjoyed Barcelona. It's very different than, I mean, I know you haven't been to Spain either, but I think it's very different than the rest of Spain. It has its completely own culture and they even have their own language. They want to be their own country. So they're very
Mm.
different than the rest of Spain, and the architecture is just amazing. So
Mhm.
what I did there, we stayed there a few days. My cruise also started in Barcelona, and we wound up staying there a few days. We didn't do any excursions. We just kind of wandered around ourselves. And I've been to Barcelona since. I went back in 2017. I did my cruise in 2013, but I went back in 2017. And it's still my favorite place in Spain, even though I lived in a different part of Spain when I was living there. But it's still culturally, it's my favorite part of Spain. So the things we did there, well, I'll give you the highlights and then I'll sort of discuss each one a little bit. I'll show you some pictures. So of course, the Sagrada Familia. Have you heard of that?
No.
You haven't heard of it, really?
I really haven't heard of much that goes on in Spain.
Well, I feel like that's why you're not so excited to go to Barcelona because you don't even know about like the most famous thing there. So I
No.
have this is the Sagrada Familia. Have you seen pictures of it before?
I mean, not really. I feel like it looks like a lot of churches in Europe.
It to me it doesn't. To me it's very unique to me. It's actually not finished yet. So there's this architect, I guess he is, and his name is Gaudi. And basically, he designed almost like the whole city of Barcelona. And he designed this church to be, and it's still being built. He's dead, he's long gone. But this church is, they never even finished it. So I think it's finishing in 2034, 2036, something like that. You can look it up and fact check me. But it's been under construction for, I think, like 100 or so years since he's died and everything, and it's the most famous thing in Barcelona. And so it'll be more finished when you go there than when I went. But the it's just stunning, the architecture, the detail in it. So the front of the church is actually different than the back of the church. The front of the church has more of this like blocky type architecture for the statues that they have of all the people. And then the back of the church is like the more traditional type architecture with the more traditional sculptures and design. So it's actually really interesting. And a lot of the church was designed to be modeled after nature. So like these are supposed to resemble like honeycombs, I believe. If you go in the church, they explain it to you. There's like signs that tell you all these things. And it was honest, it's one of the most beautiful pieces of architecture I've ever seen in my life. I'm trying to find the pictures of the inside of it for you. But yeah, here's some more of the outside. Hmm My pictures are very disorganized. But does that appeal to you at all? Yeah. Here's some more pictures from the side of it. It's just it to me it's spectacular, this church.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the inside, this is the ceiling.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's gorgeous. It's larger than life. It's just beautiful.
Hmm.
So you don't seem too enthused by it.
I'm just not a big architecture person. Like I'm just like it's really nice. It's cool. Like I appreciate that he did that, but
Yeah. I
it's not
mean,
something that I want to like fly across the world and like spend all this money. It just like I don't know. I know Michael would be like, oh, like he'd be like you, like this is amazing. But I'm just kind of like, cool. Like, where are we going for lunch?
I mean, I could see that, but I mean, I just think like it doesn't. I know you said it looks to you, it looks like any other church, but I think when you see it in person, it really does stand apart from other churches that you've seen in Europe and around the world. I think it
I'm
is.
sure it does.
Yeah, in my opinion, it definitely does.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you bring up lunch, I could talk about food in Barcelona. They have tapas are big there. I'm not sure if you know what those are, but they're like almost little appetizers, but you get them as your meal sort of. So they'll bring you like a bunch of them. So it's almost like you're having a bunch of appetizers as your meal. So that's really big in Spain and Barcelona. Paella, I don't know if you've ever had that.
Had it.
That's very big there. So
Mm.
That's your lunch options, basically.
Sounds good.
Really good, yeah. Other things that we did there. So as I mentioned, Gaudi is the big architect who designed a lot of the city. So, and a lot of the city resembles his work. So this is Guel Park, and he designed the park. So these pictures that you're seeing of the front of it, they look very crowded, but this is just like the main entrance of the park. The whole park is not this crowded. It's just like this is like where all the big architectural stuff is in the front here. But there are places in the park that are a lot quieter. Like here, you could just walk around and take it all in. I thought this park was very pretty. It's more so like he worked with nature to make it more beautiful. So it's not really like a natural park that you're going to like it's not completely open, but it's like he used the park and the nature to build the architecture of the park, if that makes any sense.
That's cool.
Yeah, it is really nice. It was really nice to walk through. And there's just these beautiful mosaics all over the park. It's really, really pretty. I know you're into parks.
Yeah, I mean, I like parks too, like I like nature.
Yeah. It's not super
Yeah.
naturey. I mean, it is naturey. Like they do have a lot of plants and trees and flowers, but it's more so it's more people more so go there to see how he kind of incorporated the architecture into the nature, if that makes any sense.
Right.
Yeah. It's very nice though. I do recommend it.
Hmm.
And there's also one more thing from Gaudi that I should discuss, even though I don't have too much to say about it. It is the although you're probably not going to be very enthused by it if you weren't totally enthused by those other two things, because this is the least enthusing of the three. It's the Gaudi houses, which are basically just houses he built in the city, and they just basically look really cool. You could walk through them. The architecture is just very different. It kind of matches the same style as the park and the church that I showed you. So I did walk through one of them in 2017. It was interesting. If you don't have time for it, whatever. I mean, maybe just walk past one at least, but I don't think it's like a must do, you have to go in it type thing.
Right.
So that's that. There are some other things that we did there. The Picasso Museum. So Picasso was, I don't know if he was born in Barcelona, but he did a lot of his work in Barcelona at least. So
Mhm.
The Picasso Museum is in Barcelona, and we really had a nice time at the Picasso Museum. It was kind of small, but it was just really nice. And like the outside here, we took some pictures in the courtyard of it. It was just really pretty.
Yeah.
And just walking around the city was just really, really nice. There's this area called Las Ramblas. I believe, let me look that up before I spew information that's not true. Las Ramblas, I'm pretty sure. Yes. Las Ramblas, it's like a market. It's a street with a market and a square, and it's just a nice place to walk around, I guess. I mean, it can get a little crowded, but I mean, you're in a city, so it's just a nice street to walk down, essentially.
Right.
And there's also the Olympic Park. They had the Olympics in Barcelona. I'm not sure what year it was, but they still have all the Olympic stuff set up, and it's pretty cool. You could go inside the soccer stadium, and it's huge. And
Mhm.
you could see the big Olympic torch that they have up. This is one of the government buildings. I just thought it was really pretty. It's near the
Oh, that
Olympic.
is really pretty. Hmm.
Yeah, it's near the Olympic Park. Yeah, so this is that big torch thing, if you will. I'm not
Oh.
sure. Yeah. So they still have all the Olympic stuff set up. This is the
Mhm.
soccer field.
Oh
So
well.
yeah, it's pretty cool to see in person. You could just wander around. And
Hmm.
they have a waterfront in Barcelona, so if you're into the beaches, you could go to the beaches there, or just they have like a lot of waterfront bars and restaurants and whatnot. So that's kind of my spiel on Barcelona. I mean, there's obviously so much more there, but I mean, yeah, time constraints. So do you have any questions about Barcelona or things to say?
No, I feel like I got a pretty good picture of it. I mean, I feel like I still have the same opinion where it's like it looks nice. I appreciate it for what it is, but I don't know if it's somewhere that I'm like I need to be there
Yeah,
forever. I don't know.
I mean, I wouldn't want to be there forever either. But
I mean, be there like quickly. I mean, like I don't
yeah,
know.
I don't know. I think you should give it 2 or 3 days. But I mean, if you really are just not intrigued by it at all, then I mean, I guess what you're doing is fine. Yeah, I mean, I just personally would spend more time there. Even having gone there before, if I had to stop there for my cruise to start, I would still probably spend like 2 days there. But that's just me. I mean, everyone's different.
I feel like to our listeners, I feel like that would be good advice if you're like interested, spend a few days there. Um, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for just giving places a shot also. I mean, that's just me. But even if it doesn't look super interesting to me, I kind of like to just check it out for myself, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to spend a day there,
Yeah. I just
but
don't want you to regret it and say like, "Oh, I wish we saw these things." And then,
I
you
don't
know,
think so. I'm more the type of person that I'm like, if that was my decision, I'll feel good about it. And if I feel like, oh man, like I want to see it again, like I think I would just go back and like make a whole separate trip out of it.
all right, yeah, that's fair. That is fair because there's so much to see in Spain anyway, so you could always just go back and just do Spain.
Yeah, and I would do like Spain, Portugal. Like I feel like I'd make a whole rigmarole.
Yeah, I definitely want to do Portugal again because I was only there for like a day or two, and I
Mm-hmm.
feel like I didn't get the full experience. So I
Yeah.
think, yeah, I'm definitely with you on that about like going back and doing it like completely, the full
Yeah.
rigmarole. Yeah,
Yeah, because I feel like if it's somewhere I'm like, oh my God, I need to be here, like I'm gonna make a whole thing. Like I could even do like a Spanish cruise or like, something like that. Like I feel like that would be like if I was obsessed with it. But as
yeah,
of right now, I feel like the main focus for me is more Italy with a little bit of France and like the smallest bit of Spain.
yeah. I mean, like I said before, Barcelona is not like the rest of Spain. So even if you love Barcelona, you may hate the rest of Spain or vice versa. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think I don't know. Let me know what you think when you get back. But
Okay. I'll
yeah, because it
let you
is a
know.
very different place. Like they're kind of actively trying to not be Spanish because they want to be their own country.
Wow.
Yeah. So like they have their own language, they have their own culture. A lot of people like if you when you're walking down the streets, you'll see they have their own flag. They kind of separate themselves from Spain as much as they can. At least a lot of people do that live
Mm-hmm.
there. So it is really interesting. And I mean, you can get around without speaking the language, but we did run into some language barriers there because we don't speak, I think it's Catalan as their language, and we don't speak that. We speak some Spanish. And so when we were there, we were trying to speak Spanish. And then we were in this hair salon once, and it was, we spoke English and some Spanish, obviously. And there was these German guys in there that I think spoke German and English, and then it was the workers there that only spoke Catalan and Chinese, and everyone was trying to like communicate with each other, and it was just like the biggest mess in the world because nobody spoke the same language. So yeah, it's Barcelona is very interesting, but
Yeah.
yeah, so definitely let me know what you think about that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I guess we'll move on to what you're more interested in is Spain, not Spain, France and I just really want you to like Spain. France and Italy.
Okay, perfect.
So I guess we'll move on to the next place that is on your itinerary, which is Florence and Pisa, which you were spending
Mm-hmm.
2 nights in. So I actually think that's really cool that you're spending 2 nights there
Well, I'm
because,
spending a day and a night. Like so I'm spending two
oh,
full days and
okay,
just one
yeah.
night.
I wrote it
Yeah,
down wrong, but yeah. Okay.
that's okay.
Yes, yeah, I still think that's really cool. So, but
See,
okay.
I'm like curious because I feel like I'm like, it sounds cool, but I don't know if it sounds really cool
Okay.
for
Well,
2 days there.
hopefully I can make it sound really cool. So, I mean, I guess you can decide what you're going to do because when I went there with my cruise, we only had the 1 day there. So we wound up doing Florence and Pisa in 1 day, which was
Mm.
fine. But I think we barely got any time in Pisa. So I think it's really nice that you're able to kind of separate them if you want. Because I mean, I did wind up going back to Pisa, and that's where I wound up living actually when I was living in Italy. So I can't say I didn't get enough of Pisa. I certainly did. But
Mm.
during my cruise, I 100% did not get enough of Pisa because, yeah, like I said, we were just there the 1 day and we did mostly Florence and almost no Pisa. We just did Leaning Tower and that was it. So I think it's really, really nice that your cruise has it split into 2 days so you can get a feel for Florence and Pisa as like separate entities almost.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, I mean, do you know anything about Florence and Pisa? already?
I mean, I know that Florence is kind of like the start of the Renaissance and everything like that. And I feel like when it comes to art, like let's say I'm not really like that big into art, but I think I am big into like the Renaissance just for the historical aspect of it. I think it's really cool. So for that point, I'm really excited about it. I don't really know much else about Florence or Pisa. I know it's Leaning Tower of Pisa, but like I'm not that curious. And also I feel like they have really good food.
Hmm.
That's pretty much my extent of those two places.
Yeah, my sister actually said that the best pizza she ever had in her life was in Florence. So
Oh wow.
I can try to get the name of that place for you since you'll
Yes.
especially since you'll probably have time to go since you're going to be in that area for so long.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll try to get that for you, but she still raves about that pizza like every day.
Wow. See, like that's what I like about traveling is like the food aspect of like the culture.
Yeah, this is where you're gonna find all the good food.
Yes, I'm
And
excited.
the gelatos, that's my thing.
Oh, I love
But
gelatos. Yeah.
yeah, I mean the best gelatos I had, I think were in Sicily,
Mm.
which is not where you're going. But I mean, F Florence still has great gelatos. There was this good place in Pisa as well by the river that I used to go to, and that was really good too. But definitely the best one I had was there was one really good place in Rome, which I wouldn't recommend going to, honestly. We stumbled upon it by accident, and it was in the middle of nowhere. I couldn't even tell you how to get there, and it was just like it wasn't a touristy place at all. Like it was just kind of like a place the locals go that we like found by accident, but it was completely in the middle of nowhere in Rome. So I wouldn't recommend that place. And then the best one I had, like I said, was in Sicily. But yeah, Florence will definitely have some great gelato options as well. But as I was saying, so you mentioned the Renaissance art, and I mean, I don't know what period this is from, but probably the first place they'll take you to is Il Duomo, which have you heard of that?
Oh, yes, I've heard of El Duomo. Yes.
Yeah, so I mean, here are my horrible pictures, but and they came out really bad, and on my camera was just like not doing it that day. But these, I have a bunch of pictures from Il Duomo here. This is the outside of it. I believe we did go inside as well. The doors on it, I remember they said are made of gold. I can't find a picture of those doors.
Wow.
Oh, here, yeah. Here's the doors that are made of gold. And they're like massive doors. And I think we did go inside. I just can't remember because it was so long ago. But yeah, so that's El Duomo. Even if you don't go inside, it's beautiful from the outside. I believe it's all like marble, it's just really spectacular. And that is that we did that. And then also, I'm trying to remember. So Piazza della Signora is another pop, like, excuse my Italian, it's like non-existent. But this is another place in Florence that's very popular. It's probably the most popular square within Florence. So it's just like when you're walking around, you'll stumble upon it. And they just have like all these statues surrounding it. And so these are all famous like Renaissance sculptures. Just they're just like out on the street. You just walk through
Mm.
the square and see them. They also have a replica of the David here. Have you heard of David, that big sculpture?
Yeah.
So they have a replica of the David in the square, but if you want to see the real David, it's also in Florence, which I didn't get to see during my cruise, but I saw it when I went back to Florence in when was that? 2019. And it's massive. It's absolutely huge. So let me see if I could pull up that picture for you. I highly recommend that. So that is, we did wait online for it. It was about an hour wait, but it was worth it. I hear some more pictures of El Duomo that I took at night. It's really, really nice.
Yeah.
I'd recommend going in the morning or night when it's less crowded because as you can see, there's just a lot fewer people here.
Mm-hmm.
But let me see if I could find, yeah, so this is the David. So you could see these people like ants next to it.
Yeah.
It's huge. So I do recommend seeing that. It's pretty much the only thing in the building. Like you're just going in basically to see the David. And then beyond that, there is you said you're interested in the Renaissance art. So there's also the Uffizi Museum, which
Mhm.
I can try to find pictures of for you. But basically, I don't know if I have any in here. If I have any, I'll put them into the video. I can't find them here right now.
Mhm.
But basically, the Uffizi Museum is where they have all that type of art that you're into. And it was just really nice. Like I'm not super into art museums, but I did enjoy that museum. And let me see, is there anything that oh, have you heard of Ponte Vecchio?
Monte Vecchio. I don't think so.
No, okay. So I'm going to pull up a picture from the internet of that. Actually, I do have one. I just don't feel like looking through my pictures, and then I'll put my real picture in the YouTube video, but I'll just show you online for now. So this is Ponte
It's
Vecchio.
pretty.
Yeah. So it's a bridge that you it's basically, so it means, I believe it means old bridge in Italian. And basically the bridge itself has shops within it. I did go into the shops. It's like there's just jewelry shops, like it's nothing special. But what's special about the bridge itself is that you is just how pretty it is, really. So people don't really go
Yeah.
there for the shops. They mostly go just because the bridge is so historic and beautiful. And so you could, it's just some, yeah, it's just something you can kind of look at if you want to go in the shops and buy things. Of course, they're there. But
Mhm.
yeah, it's more of just like a really nice site. So that's very famous in Florence. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about Florence. I think it's really nice to just walk through the city. It has like, of course, it has that like Italian feel to it because it is an Italian city. So I think it's just really nice to walk through the streets and just to feel like you're in Italy. Any questions about Florence?
Um, no, I mean, it seems nice.
Yeah. Any more
Yeah.
excited for Italy or still neutral?
Still pretty neutral. Honestly, I just feel like a lot of Europe, it seems to me now, is like a lot of architecture and art, which is cool, but I just like don't know if that's like my honeymoon trip. But I guess we'll see. We
Mhm.
keep pushing forward.
Yeah, what would you want to do for your honeymoon trip if this is
I
not what you
think
want? Are you
something romantic, something with good scenery, something with good food, something chill, but I don't mind like walking around. Something different, something unique.
interesting. So something with a more natural type feel?
Yeah, very natural, but still like romantic. Nothing that's gonna stress me out, just like makes me feel like just like that vibe of like newlywed.
I mean, I've never been to this place, but this is kind of what it sounds like to me is Azores and the Azores Islands. They're Portuguese, but it's
Mm.
basically the quote unquote Hawaii of Europe. And
Really?
so do you see these pictures that I pulled up?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Hmm.
very natural, but it's still Portuguese. And so it's owned by Portugal. It's near Portugal. And
Hmm.
they still have that culture. They have the really good Portuguese food. They have the Portuguese towns, but also at the same time, you could just like explore nature. Like it has like a Hawaiian type feel, if you will.
Right. Yeah.
So that maybe that's what you're looking for.
Maybe. I don't know if I'm looking for that nature, like definitely nature,
Hmm.
but I don't know. I feel like I'm looking for more of what I think Italy is, and then I'm like hearing about Italy, and I don't know if it has that vibe where it's like it's still like city and there's still like a magic, but it just seems like it's very like crowded and like it's gonna make me hot, and like I just don't know if it's the dream that I'm like
So
imagining.
I think Florence and Rome will make you hot and they're very crowded.
Yes.
100%. That's exactly how you're going to feel in Florence and Rome.
Yeah.
But I think Naples, you'll have it will almost give you that magic that you're looking for.
That's kind of what I'm thinking is like maybe I have to like suffer, not like suffer because obviously it's an amazing experience, but like kind of like go through that part. Because what attracted me initially about this cruise was the name of it. It's like the Italian Riviera, which I feel like Riviera is kind of like the vibe of what I would want my honeymoon to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think you'll really like France and I think you'll
Mhm.
really like Naples.
Like the country, like that's what I want is like the countryside of Europe. Like the city's cool, and like I feel like I do want to experience a little bit of that, but I feel like for a honeymoon, it's just like countryside, Italy, romantic, like breezy, winery, like that kind of vibe.
Yeah, so yeah, definitely the places in France and Naples are what you're looking for. So
Okay.
yeah, so I mean, I will further discuss Florence and Pisa and Rome for the other people that are listening, but I don't think those are going to appeal to you. So,
Okay.
based on what you're saying, even
Right.
though I definitely think it's worth it, definitely think you should still go
Yeah,
and
just to say I went.
yeah, and experience it. But yeah, I could definitely. I see what you're saying, and I
Hmm.
think France and Naples are definitely more your vibe.
Right. That's what I'm thinking too.
Yeah. So I mean that's pretty much all I have to say about Florence. I'll move on to Pisa quick. I did live in Pisa for a little bit, and honestly, it is definitely less crowded than Florence. So I guess if you're looking for a more like chill Florence, then it's Pisa. So I mean, you'll still be very hot, but it's a lot quieter. Like if you could see in like this picture of the
That's really
river,
pretty.
yeah,
Mhm.
like the streets are not packed. Like you could walk down the streets and be like by yourself a lot of the time. So I guess
That's nice.
it does kind of give you that like actual Italian city feeling where it's not like a super touristy city because a lot of people just go to Pisa to see the Leaning Tower, which of course you should go see. So there's the Leaning Tower and I believe there's two other buildings there that you can see. I honestly, I wish I knew this. I should know this because I lived there, but they're like, I don't know if they're churches or something along those lines. They're next to this. That's like a square almost, and you could go to
Mhm.
those three or however many buildings. And so that's what most tourists go for, but they don't go on to really explore Pisa. And I think
Mhm.
Pisa itself has a lot to offer because, yeah, it's like it's not super touristy beyond that area, that really small area. So
Mhm.
there's that river that I just showed you a picture of that runs through the city, and that's kind of where kind of like the center of the city, if you will. So if you walk to one side of the river, you'll find all the shopping, which I mean gets a little crowded, but not touristy crowded. It's more so people that live in Pisa. There's a lot of nice Italian restaurants down this river area, which are not touristy restaurants either. They're more so like authentic Italian restaurants where the locals would go. Yeah, I used to go to this breakfast place that was by the river. So really, when you're in Pisa, you want to stick by this river. This is pretty much where everything is.
Mhm.
And yeah, maybe Pisa would be your vibe as well, just because it is a little quieter.
Yeah. It sounds like it's like heading towards my vibe, but it's not quite there yet.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that. I mean, this is the
Mhm.
shopping street. So
Like that's super, super cute.
yeah. So it is like slightly more crowded, obviously, but it's really cute. Like it gives you like that Italian feel, like you feel like you're in Italy. There's all the restaurants that are in the middle of the road. Yeah,
Hmm.
it's really, really cute.
Yeah.
So I think you should spend some time in Pisa. This is my gelato. That was really good.
That's good.
Yeah. So I think you'd like Pisa better than Florence. And I mean, Pisa
Right.
does have its own things also. There's a wall that surrounded the city of Pisa, and you could walk on the top of the wall. I forgot what the wall was called, but if you look up like Pisa wall or something, it should come up. And
Hmm.
you could walk on that wall. It was really interesting to learn the history about that, the history that I have since forgotten. But I think you would enjoy Pisa. I think when you look into your excursions, maybe focus more on Pisa than on Florence.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's mostly what I have to say about Pisa. I mean, I spent a long time in Pisa, so I could go on and on and on and on. But I think that
Right.
like the highlights for someone that's only going to be there for like a day or two, that's pretty much what you need to know.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely like Pisa more. I do think I'll spend some time in Florence just because I feel like, like the historical aspect of it. I feel like I do need to experience that. Like I said, like I feel like Pisa is like heading towards my vibe. It seems like open and like more like Italian. But I think if this was the whole trip, I don't think I would do it. But if this
Yeah.
is like a little piece, like that's okay so far.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I did enjoy Pisa. I mean, I was there for a long time and I did sort of get tired of it because just I was there for so long
Mm-hmm.
and then I started
Mm-hmm.
realizing all the little things that I didn't like. But you're only going to be there for a day or two. So
Yeah.
I think there's a lot in store for you in that day or two, like a lot of good in store.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I totally see what you mean about wanting like that would be okay for like a little part of the trip, but you want a different vibe overall.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I just need like more like romantic, like you know what I'm saying.
Yes. So I think Nice and Ez might give you that, which I think is what Santa Margarita is next. I have no idea what that is,
Ooh.
but I mean, we looked up the pictures and it looks really,
Yeah, I
really
see some
nice.
pictures of it. I feel like I need to see more pictures of
Yeah.
Santa Margarita. Yeah. Because I feel like that might be my vibe. Because I heard it's like a big winery place, which I really like. Just like looking at the views, drinking some wine. Like I feel like that's what I want my honeymoon to be like.
Yeah, that's really pretty. That's a really nice view.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
So pretty. Yeah, I
You could like be on a
unfortunately
boat.
cannot show these pictures in the YouTube video because copyright things, but
Right.
yeah, because I've never been there myself, so I don't have my own pictures to show. But everyone, if you want, look up Santa Margherita. It's in Liguori, I believe,
Mm.
and it's in Italy. So I think it's really cute. It kind of gives me like a fishing type vibe, like a fishing town. Wait,
Fishing
is this?
town, yeah.
Yeah, this kind of looks actually, this looks exactly like Cinque Terre, actually, this picture right
Mm.
here. I don't know if is Santa Margherita part of, please hold. Is it part of Cinque Terre?
I don't know.
I don't know. But I need to look at a map. Now I'm getting stressed because I've been to Cinque Terre. Let's see. But then I feel like they would just list it as, please hold. This is stressing me out. Santa Margherita, where is that?
Oh, I see that map. It says Cinque Terre.
Where?
If you scroll up, it was there. Yeah, right there,
Where?
right here. On the right.
Right.
I see it. Yep, right there.
So this one, oh, so
So it
Portofino.
says Santa Margarita, and then it's like right next to it. Yeah.
Okay, so it's near Cinque. Okay, so it's like similar vibes, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I did go to Cinque Terre, and Cinque Terre was gorgeous, definitely a little crowded, but absolutely beautiful. That you can go from town to town and visit all the beaches. And I think Santa Margherita will probably be even better than Cinque Terre because it's not as commercialized, if you will.
Mm.
So I mean, I think that's a better place to even go than Cinque Terre because it looks like it, but less crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you'll have a really nice time there. That seems like a very romantic vibe.
That's kind of like the vibe that I'm going for. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you'll really like that. I mean, of
Hmm.
course, I can't say for myself, but I mean, looking at these pictures, look it doesn't look half as crowded or it looks like what I want Cinque Terre to be, basically.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, I think I'll really enjoy that. But I mean, if anyone's
Yeah.
been there, you could drop your opinions in the comments. Let us know what you think of Santa Margarita.
Hmm.
But yeah, that looks really, really nice. I'm jealous.
Yeah.
So next we could talk about Nice, which
Okay.
I also think you'll like. Um,
Yeah, I'm curious.
I have some of my own pictures, but I'd like to see what Google has to say. Yeah, so
Oh,
this is
wow.
Nice. Nice to me was beautiful. I'll pull up my pictures, but
Hmm.
just so to go to Nice, our boat, it doesn't pull up right at the shore. And I think a lot of ports in Europe are like this, where it doesn't pull up right at the shore. It pulls up and then you have to take like a little boat to get to the shore.
Okay.
And basically, so we get on that little boat, and I remember that little boat ride so vividly because just the scenery of pulling up to Nice was just so, so beautiful. And I'm going to pull up those pictures of that view right now. It was just and Nice was not crowded. It was really, really, really nice.
Yeah,
So
that's
let
kind
me,
of what I was looking for. Like, because I know I want to go to France, but I also know like I can't spend all my time in Paris.
I would not spend any
So
time in Paris. I did not like Paris,
yeah.
especially going. I mean, I'm glad I did Paris, but that's about all I can say about Paris. So this
Right.
was the view pulling up to Nice.
Wow.
It
Like
was
that's perfect.
it was absolutely spectacular. Just the
Wow.
beautiful. And so I think this is kind of the vibe you're looking for.
Yes.
Yes. And so just really, yeah, I found Nice to be very romantic. There
Oh
were
my
all
gosh.
these little cafes and
Oh my God. I
yeah,
would spend the whole day in a cafe.
I think you'll love Nice. And the whole city of Nice was like that because
Hmm.
even if you're not on the water, you walk through Nice and it was just all like little streets and markets. And these are
Mm.
getting into Italy pictures. They got a little messed. They got a little mixed together.
Is that still
But
Nice?
yeah, so some of this is
Oh
Nice, some
wow.
of this is Ez, which is the town that's right next to Nice. It's a medieval town on a
Oh
hill.
wow.
So you could get to Ez very easily from Nice.
Mm.
Um Yeah, this is getting into Monaco now. So we wound up going to Nice, Ez, and Monaco all in one day.
Mm,
Monaco, I definitely don't think is your vibe. Um,
no.
no, it's all rich, luxurious houses and yachts and
Mm,
nothing romantic about it at all.
okay.
But casinos. I mean, it is a different
Mm,
country, so if you wanted to add another country to your list, then feel free. But it's really, I think it's the second smallest country in the world, but I think it has the richest people in the world, I believe, live
oh
there.
wow.
Yes. And so it's they have a prince and a princess, and it's very, very rich. If that's all I
Mm,
can really say. Like, oh, any rich person that you could think of, like the richest people in the world, have a house in Monaco. That's pretty much,
mm,
and it's just basically a country for rich people.
wow. That's
Yeah.
yeah, it's not really my vibe.
So, I mean, if you want to stop by Monaco just to say you went there, but Nice and Ez are definitely your vibe. We went to this cute little winery
Mm.
in Ez. That's actually where I had my very first glass of wine
Aw.
in my entire life because I was 16 and my parents were like, okay, you can have a glass of wine. And I was like, yes, because I was old enough
Yeah.
there.
In France, like that's so cute.
Yes. So this was the view from,
Oh my God.
yeah,
That's gorgeous.
yeah, I think you'll really, really like Nice and as and they had these
Yeah.
markets all up and down the street, like these selling like
Oh,
fruits and vegetables and flowers.
it's
And
cute.
yeah, so yeah, this is just like walking down the street, all the
Mm-hmm.
with the buildings and flowers. Really, really, really pretty. There was a lot of flowers there, I remember.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
really pretty.
mhm. I think you'll really like Nice. It sounds like this is more your thing.
Definitely more my vibe than like Florence.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think just go to like it almost gives me like Savannah,
Yes.
but
But
make it
French.
France. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I think Nice is right up your alley.
Hmm.
Like I could see you at one of these
Oh
cafes
my
along the
gosh.
water. Yeah.
Yes. Just us looking out, just being like, oh, what are we gonna do in our life? Like that's exactly the vibe I'm going for.
And I would assume they have, I mean, I didn't do this, of course, because we did the Nice as and Monaco thing, but they have like this big harbor here with all these like little boats. So I would almost think you could take like a sunset cruise or like
So
just
cute.
get drinks on a boat or like because you are also in wine country still in France.
Yeah.
So this is yeah, just I just still can't get over this view. I mean, it's been this was
Oh my
2013.
God.
I still can't
That's
get over it.
crazy.
So yeah, that's really all I have to say about Nice because I didn't do any cultural things in Nice. We just kind of walked around, but I just really, really loved it.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Mhm. And same with Ez. Ez was if you do choose to go to Ez when you're in the area, it's spelled Eze. I think there's an accent in there somewhere. But
Mm.
it's like I said before, it's like a medieval town. The streets are really, really small and narrow. It's almost like a lot of the streets like that you can't even fit cars down. It's just like
Hmm.
walking. And there I just remember all these beautiful like flowers and little shops and cafes and it just really,
Hmm.
really, really sweet vibe. Yeah. So I think you'll really like that. So that's what I have to say about Nice and Ez. Anything else before I move on?
No, I mean, I feel like, yeah, like if more of the cruise is going to be like Nice, then maybe I'll be excited.
I think the other place that is like Nice is Naples.
Okay, which I'm really excited about Naples because that's where my grandma's from, and that's kind of like where my whole like Italian side is from. So I feel like I kind of have to go to Naples.
I think you'll really like Naples. I did not find it crowded and it was the similar vibe.
Mm,
I mean, of course, I think there were some places in Naples that were more crowded than others, but I think overall it was not very touristy and it was just very Italian feeling.
can you show me some pictures of it?
Yeah, so I'm gonna skip over Marseille because I've never been there, but that's another place in France that you're going to. I guess let's just pull up pictures
Yeah,
so we
just so I
address
could see the energy of like,
it a little bit.
oh, that's, I mean, it looks very similar to Nice,
Yes, it
but
does.
it's beautiful. It's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, I was actually looking up about Marseille a little bit when you mentioned you were going there, and I noticed all these wine tours.
Yeah. Oh,
So
that's, yeah.
yeah, this looks beautiful. I think you'll have a great time there.
See, it's hard because I'm like low key, like I'd like to be pregnant at the end of next year, but then at the same time, I can't have wine on this cruise.
Maybe get pregnant on the cruise.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Like in
How,
Naples,
how romantic would that be?
that's very romantic. Like I leave, ready for wine, and then I come back
Yeah,
pregnant.
that's what I would do if I was
Yeah.
looking to get pregnant again, which I wouldn't be. But
Yeah.
yeah, Marcel looks really cute.
Oh my God. It's
Yeah.
like the cutest. Like it's literally Savannah on steroids.
Yeah, it's so cute. I loved the south of France. I pretty much I almost hated the north of France, but I loved the
Mm.
south of France. I would
It's
definitely go
just like
back.
that's my vibe. It's just like on the river, beautiful cafes, walk around, nature. Like that's literally like what I'm looking for.
Yeah, like this is the French Riviera.
Yeah.
That's
That's
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, loved that area.
Yeah.
But moving on, we can talk about Naples now that we
Yay.
sort of spoke about Marseille a little bit. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to try to pull up my pictures for Naples. And basically, my family, what we did an excursion of the Amalfi Coast, which is off of Naples, and we did Pompeii. So, I mean,
Mm.
of course, you don't have to do Pompeii. You could just do like the Amalfi Coast, which is the big thing in Naples, or of course, you could like go into the city of Naples, which like we didn't really do. We kind of did the Amalfi Coast, which is
Mhm.
definitely what you're looking for. Um, Let me pull up my pictures though. Yeah, so these are all my Monaco pictures,
Mm.
and then got all jumbled around here. This is some Florence. That's my mom sleeping.
Oh, that countryside is so beautiful.
Yeah, so this was the ride from Florence to Pisa. So
Wow.
it was
Oh,
really,
that's the part I would be like really excited about
I
is
mean,
the train ride.
I could also give you some recommendations for places similar to this in Italy that are near Pisa.
Mm.
There's this town called Livorno. I mean, not
Mhm.
Livorno, sorry. Lajatico. Livorno is another town in Italy, but it's I mean, I think you may like Livorno also, but that's not where I was going with this. Lajatico is it's just like hills and hills and hills and hills. And that's pretty much it. They have like one pizza place, which is actually owned by Andrea Bocelli's family. And so I went there and I met his
Wow.
family. Yeah, I met his mom. She was really sweet. She only spoke
That's really
Italian.
cute.
But yeah, let me pull up pictures of that before I get into this. Uh but that was really, really awesome. And so if you want to go there, it's not too far from Pisa. Of course, you'd need to figure your way back to the cruise. But
Hmm.
because I really don't think they would have an excursion there, but I think like it's similar vibe to what you're looking for, just like in the country of Italy. Just
Hmm.
let me see if it's in here. Here.
That's the town.
Yeah, this is Lajatico. So this is like um this is where Andrea Bocelli used to come to sing
Wow.
out here in these hills.
Aw, in the hills.
Yeah. So yeah, it was really that's pretty much all the pictures I have of Lajatico because we like it's like a really 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 small town, like so small that it's like almost like not picture worthy. But it
Yeah.
was like that's almost like it seems like that's like almost the vibe you're going for.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was really nice, but it would be very hard for you to get to because it's so off the grid.
Yeah,
But
maybe
as
I'd be a little bit closer, but like I like the energy.
yeah, that's like definitely sort of deserted energy, but yeah, that's kind of how the ride from Florence to Pisa was. There was just like these open fields and flowers. There was a sunflower field that it felt like we were in for an eternity, but it was really, really pretty. Okay, wait,
That's
so
really cute.
let me get back to those pictures and try to find my Naples pictures, which we're still trying to find. Okay, here we are. So the Amalfi Coast was absolutely spectacular. So
Yeah, it's
it's
beautiful.
yeah, it was I think it was somewhat Nice vibes, except make it Italian.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they I think we went into this building down here, this like circular dome type thing or there was a
Mhm.
place next to it. It was a restaurant. We got some food. It was really quiet. It was really nice. And
Sounds
it
nice.
we mostly just took like a scenic tour down the Amalfi Coast when we were in this area. This is a famous building, which is, I mean, I think it's called Sant'Andrea, I believe, and like it's the stairs on it are famous for whatever reason. I mean, there's a lot of stairs. Um, and it's in that area. It's in one of the like the small towns that they have there, and it's really cute. It's very Italian.
Yeah.
These are like the streets. This is that building. So a lot of
It's really
steps.
pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So these are like the towns in around that area.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Here's some more pictures of the towns. I don't really have too much to say about this. It was just kind of walking like same similar thing as Nice. Like we just kind of like took the sights in.
So is this Naples?
So this is Amalfi Coast, which is right near Naples. So this is from the port
Okay.
of Naples. You can go to the Amalfi Coast. So that's what we
Oh,
did.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, we didn't really go like directly into Naples, but this is like I guess the streets of Naples. It looks like a cute Italian city.
Yeah.
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 But yeah, we chose to take the excursion to Amalfi Coast, which is basically Naples.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's what we did. How are you feeling about all that?
I mean, I definitely do love the recent cities that you showed me. I feel like that's totally like the vibe and the energy that I'm going for.
Yeah, I think these
Yeah.
are definitely more your speed than
Yeah.
Florence and Rome. I personally did not really like Florence and Rome for, I mean, I'm glad I went and
Hmm.
I have been there a few times. However, I feel like if I never go back, it's okay. And
Right.
yeah, but I would love to go back to Nice and the Amalfi Coast and Naples and like that
Yeah. I mean,
area.
that
Yeah.
scenery is just unmatchable.
Yeah, it's really gorgeous.
Yeah.
Um,
I feel like I feel about this like that, the scenery, how you feel about that church in Spain.
I mean, I just really like that church, but I do like if I had to choose between going back to the Sagrada Familia or going here, I would probably choose here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just think you need to give Barcelona more of a chance. That's all I'm trying to say.
I'm going to Barcelona. What more do you want from me?
Just open your mind.
Oh my God. No, I know I'm gonna have fun, but I mean, Julie, I mean, come on. I'm sorry, but between Barcelona and these places, this Riviera is like
Yeah, no, this is unmatchable beauty.
it's
I mean, just like
unmatchable.
yeah, just the way like it just like the Italian vibe on the hills and the water is so
Yeah.
clear and yeah,
Like
just
that's a vibe.
yeah, like I would
That's
have
a
a
honeymoon vibe.
yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
I would have lots of glasses of wine over here
Oh yeah.
in
Oh
these
yeah.
hills. Yeah, so
In
I
these
think
hills.
I think Positano is where I was. Positano, Italy. Yes. So I was primarily in Positano, although I do think I drove
Pretty.
through a bunch of the cities. One thing I did not like about this area was we took like because personally for you and Michael, if you want to do more like if you want to like get out and have a glass of wine or like um go to one of like the restaurants like really take in this area, I would not do the tour that I did because we had to get to Pompeii really quick. So we like drove through this. We learned about it, obviously. We saw it. We did stop here briefly to eat, but we had to get to Pompeii.
I feel
So
like this I wish I had 2 days in.
yeah, it's really beautiful.
Yeah. Because I feel like I want more of like this and like then I would like Florence.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think you could, but the thing is, you have the day in Nice, you have the day in Marseille, you have the day here. Like that's almost like
It's
three
all
days
kind of
of
like the
this.
same thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, you technically do have that
Yeah.
in a way.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
I do.
But because we were like sort of kind of rushing to get to Pompeii, I didn't really get to take in this area as much as I wanted to. So I recommend for you if you really want to take in this area and explore this area even more than I did, then maybe look for a tour that cuts out Pompeii.
I'd be fine with that.
Yeah, that would be my best. I mean, I really liked Pompeii and I could show and I could show you my pictures from it or whatever. But honestly, the not to, I don't know. I just feel like the documentaries about Pompeii and the pictures you see make Pompeii seem a lot cooler than Pompeii actually is.
Really.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'll show you my pictures. You could decide for yourself. But
Mm.
I was expecting, I don't know, I was just expecting more from it, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, because the documentaries and the pictures, it's very dramatic and
Yeah,
yeah,
it was not dramatic at all.
right.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm not saying I want to see like dead bodies or anything, or because that's also really sad. But like the documentaries just make it like all these bodies that were encased in the like the volcanic ash, and then when you get there, they're like, here's a replica, and it's just like, oh, like
Right. It's
yeah,
like, yeah.
it's just kind of like, all right. So
It's just hard because it's like, really, what are they gonna do, you know?
yeah, I know. I'm like, I'm not saying like I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not trying to be
No, I
like,
know exactly what
yeah,
you're saying.
yeah. So like this was Pompeii. These are my pictures from there. It was nice. Here's
Right.
like all the ruins. It was cool to walk through the ruins. You pretty much had like free roam of the ruins to go like explore, check them out. You could go inside of a lot of the houses or how what once were houses, and you could see this used to be a bathtub or something. There's some writing on the wall still, and you could see the paint on the wall still. So it is very it was very interesting. Yeah, they have some pictures on the wall. There was a lot of dogs there, which is there were like a lot of stray dogs. It was kind of sad. But I did like Pompeii. You could see the volcano from there, also the volcano that erupted. This is a picture of it with Pompeii in the background.
Mm.
But I don't not recommend going to Pompeii. I just think it fell a little short in my eyes.
Like, it's not really my vibe. Like I feel like if Michael was like, we have to go to I'm not even gonna tell him Pompey's there, but if he finds out and he needs to go, then I'll be like, fine. But
Yeah.
I
I
think I'd
mean,
rather just be by the water.
I think I completely agree with you. If I could do it over, I would maybe skip Pompeii. Even though if you asked me at that time, I would have done the same thing because in my mind I was like, I need to go to Pompeii. But
Yeah.
having
Yeah.
been there, I'm just like
Yeah.
it was okay.
Yeah. I feel like a
Yeah.
lot of these historical places can be like a letdown because you build it up in your head so much.
It was. You hear so many stories, you see all the documentaries, they make it seem so like dramatic, and then you get there
Yeah.
just like a pile of bricks.
Yeah.
Not to be, I don't know. Like I'm not trying to
Yeah.
be like that, but you know.
No, I get you.
It was a little disappointing going into it. I would definitely recommend maybe staying in the this area, which I think you'd like better anyways.
Yeah.
The Amalfi
It's more
Coast
my
area.
vibe.
Yeah, definitely more your vibe. And my mom took this picture actually of these lemons. They would sell all these lemons on the street, these Amalfi
That's cute.
lemons. Yeah, the
I
lemons are
love
the big
lemon
thing.
stuff, like lemon themes, and
Well, that's like the whole theme of the Amalfi Coast basically is lemons,
I
limoncello,
like that.
lemons, lemon everything.
I
So
really like that.
yeah. I mean, that's where they get like that whole like I mean, that was the theme of my bridal shower, if you remember, was
No, I remember,
Amalfi Coast.
and
Yeah.
yes, and also my cousin just had a threw a party for her grandma who's like 90 or whatever, and she also had a Naples lemon theme. Like I just feel like that's such a great, like that's just like my vibe. Like I just
Yeah.
love lemons and Italy and water.
Yeah, I think you'll really like this area.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. So I guess I could discuss the last place I have to discuss is Rome, and I know it's gonna kill the vibe for you.
Really.
It's Rome is I personally do not really like Rome at all. I mean, I like
Mm.
it for what it is because it's
I feel like you have to go,
you have to
but
go.
I know I see what you're saying. Like you're probably not gonna like it.
It's like Florence on steroids.
Ugh,
So like with the like it's more crowded. People will
yeah.
bother you in the streets. It's I mean the architecture, I guess like the old history of it is
Hmm.
spectacular. I mean, we went inside the Colosseum, which I mean which is amazing. But I mean, I've been to Rome twice and I think that's fine. I think I'm good with that.
Yeah.
So this is I let me see in my notes what I wanted to discuss. The Colosseum, we went inside of that, Roman Forum, Pantheon. Have you heard of any of those?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Roman Forum, I believe, is like somewhat nearby to the Colosseum. So this is the inside of the Colosseum.
Okay.
This this were like the underground area where they used to keep all the people that were going to fight or the animals. And so
Wow.
this would be covered up. And then yeah, I guess over time, I don't know if they took it out so people could see or I'm not or if it just eroded away, but now you're able to see all the underneath of it. And yeah, it was really spectacular going inside the Colosseum. I think if you have the time to go inside, I would, because the second time I went to Rome, we didn't go inside, and I really wanted to go back inside. So I think going inside was definitely the highlight of the Colosseum for me. And like I said, I believe it's near the Roman Forum, which is basically just a collection of ruins of old buildings from that time. And I'm sure they have significance. I just don't know it. I have better pictures of the Roman Forum from last my my last trip, but I'll since I can't find, I'm just gonna look it up on Google and I'll put my pictures into the
I mean, honestly, I feel like we're only, I don't know, would you recommend more than a day? Because I was kind of thinking, because we would land at 5:30. It's an hour away from, wait, was an hour away the from Rome, like the port, and then you go to Rome.
Mhm.
Do you think it's worth like 2 days there, or do you think like maybe like the next day we just head on a plane back home?
So I'll tell you everything that I think is worth seeing, and then you could decide whether you wanna. But I think two full days there is fine.
Okay, so then you think, so like we get there at 5:30, by the time we get there, whatever, we don't leave the next day, we leave the day after that?
That's what I would do.
Okay.
I think that would be fun. Yeah, because I mean, there is a lot to see there. You're gonna want to see it, even though like Rome's gonna annoy you a little bit. But I think it's just there is so much history to see. Like this is the Roman Forum. My pictures didn't come out anything like this, but that is what it looks like.
Mm.
And it is really this was like part of like the Roman city back in the day. These are like the remainder of it. And so there's that. There's the Pantheon, which I also do have pictures of. I'll put those into the video, but I'll show you the pictures from online since I already just have it up. So it's a museum. They have a lot of the old Roman sculptures and art and whatnot inside of it. And this dome is famous. I forgot why, but it is. It's famous.
Oh
I
yeah,
think,
it like shines a light on something.
yeah, and I think when they were building it, I don't know, did you take art in
Yes.
with Reba in
Yes.
Malloy? I
Mm-hmm.
remember her saying something about like when they were building this dome, like they had to put the um that hole at the top to make so it was able to stand up so it wouldn't collapse on itself or
Oh
something.
wow.
Yeah. So I do remember her saying that. I don't know the exact history of it, but that was really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So that this is somewhere you can go. I wouldn't spend too much time here, but it was just nice to see, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And other than that, you can go to the Vatican. Or before I get to the Vatican, because that's a completely different place. You could also go to the Spanish Steps, which so here's my opinion on the Spanish Steps. Uh, I would go, but go either really early or maybe really late. Maybe I would maybe say really early just because they get
Yeah.
so crowded that it's like
Oh my God.
disgusting.
Yeah.
But if you go really early, like it's nice and I don't think they are closing. I don't know why that says they're closing. I don't think they are. But yeah, that was just something that I saw online. I think it was clickbait. But
Okay.
so these are the Spanish Steps. They're basically like this really nice building. It's in the Piazza de España or something. That's what they call it. That's why they call it the Spanish Steps.
Mm.
And when you get to the top, I'll show you my picture. It's a really nice view.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, this was my most recent trip. This was the Trevi Fountain actually, which I was going to get to next. But Trevi Fountain, same situation. I would get there really early because then
Yeah.
you'll be able to get right up to the fountain.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you might get stuck behind some crowds. It'll be hard to see. See this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was able to get up to the front, but it wasn't easy. But it's a
Mm-hmm.
gorgeous fountain, and that's where you're supposed to like throw the penny behind your head, but like over your shoulder or something when you
Mm-hmm.
make a wish. There's like a whole thing behind it. I don't really understand it. Um,
Right.
yeah, here's the Pantheon again. And yeah, here's some pictures of me in front of the Colosseum. We went to the Colosseum at sunset, and it was really, really pretty.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And where was I headed with it? Yeah, some Roman Forum here. Roman Forum, Roman Forum. This was that really good gelato I had. Um, here. So this is from the top of the Spanish Steps. So I think that view was beautiful. So you could see
Yeah.
the Vatican over there. And then like the sun was setting. We went around sunsets, like it was really, really pretty. But at the same time, if you go around sunset, you're battling crowds. So it's yeah, I would go in the morning.
Yeah.
But I do recommend that. And then I showed you Trevi Fountain, which yeah, same thing, go in the morning. Um, there's a lot of food places that line the street. You're able to like eat on the street. This is me and my family eating on the street there, like nice
Yeah.
Italian restaurants. And yeah, that's really all I have to say about Rome. Now, to Vatican City is a different story. So that Vatican City, so when I went with my cruise, I didn't go to Vatican City the second time I was in Rome, but I did go the first time. And we did like a Rome Vatican City tour. And so the tour took us into Vatican City. Now, I don't know how Vatican City is if you're going by yourself because there are certain things you need tickets for. It's
Mhm.
very regulated. So you can't just like, it doesn't seem like the kind of place you could like walk in and do your own thing. And
Mhm.
honestly, there are no like really streets in Vatican City because it's so small. So you're not going to want to walk in and do your own thing. You're going to need tickets to go into the building. So you could see like I think it's called St. Peter's Basilica, the Sistine Chapel, St.
Yeah,
Peter's
that's really
Square.
cool.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm actually going to pull up Google pictures of that because a lot of those places they don't let you take pictures. So I have pictures of some of them and I'll put them in when I can. But
Hmm.
if I can't, just look them up yourself as you go. But I'll show you pictures from the internet, Katie, just because we're talking about it. So first I'll do St. Peter's Square. Wait, no, St. Peter's Basilica. Wait. St. Peter's Basilica, yeah. Um St. Peter's Basilica. So this is St. Peter's Basilica. I don't know if you've seen pictures of it before. It's like that
Yeah, I've heard of it.
mhm. It's like that dome that you could see
Hmm.
in Rome, even though it's not really in Rome. And they have this this is the altar. It was really, really huge and beautiful, I remember. And
Mm.
I think this is the place. Let me see. Oh yeah, I believe the Pietà is there, that statue.
Hmm.
I don't know if you've it's a famous statue. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. They also have the like preserved body of one of the popes that you could actually like they just have it there and you could see
Okay.
it. It's like it's kind of creepy, but like he they think something about him being a saint or something because he like never decomposed or it's something like that. It's really crazy. But like they have
Mm.
his body just like lying out there.
Wow, that's
Really
weird.
weird. Yeah, it was really weird. I think they also have this Jesus sculpture where you could you're supposed to like touch his feet and it brings you good luck or it's something like that.
Oh, yeah, I think I've heard of that. Yeah.
Let me see if that's here. It's definitely like in this area, but let me see. Maybe it's not in there, but I think it's, or is it Peter? St. Peter. Oh, it's St. Peter. So it's the foot of St. Peter.
Okay.
So you're supposed to touch his and I think that's in this I think that is in St. Peter's Basilica. Let me double check. I don't want to give wrong information. Yeah, yeah, I think it is. Yes, it is. So you touch his foot, and I think it's either good luck or it's something like that. But you're supposed to touch his feet. So
Mm.
he's in there, and yeah. So that was really interesting to walk through St. Peter's Basilica. Now there's also Sistine Chapel, which I
Hmm.
know for a fact I don't have pictures of because you were not allowed to take pictures. But
Mm.
even though some people were, they were like sneaking it with their phone, but I decided to be a good person and not take any. But
Yeah.
which I kind of regret. But you could look up pictures online for yourself. But these are, I mean, the ceiling was just absolutely spectacular. It
Yeah.
was gorgeous. And I mean,
Yeah.
you kind of had to like stay quiet in there and just like observe it and not take pictures, be respectful. But it was
Hmm.
really, and honestly, it was just kind of like an empty room and like you could just walk in and like see the ceiling pretty much, like
Hmm.
kind of like this picture kind of shows. It
Yeah.
wasn't even, yeah. But it was just, yeah, it was, you just got to see it for yourself, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And then St. Peter's Square was St. Peter's Square, which I think I do have pictures of, but I'll just show you the internet. Yeah. So this is like once you exit the building of all the Vatican stuff that's inside. Once you exit the
Mm-hmm.
building, you could see St. Peter's Square, which you may have seen pictures of before. It looks like
Mm-hmm.
this from above, but the whole square is lined with statues of religious people. I have no idea who they are, but
Mm-hmm.
it's really interesting. And I heard actually, I don't know if this is true because I heard this fact I had left after I had left Vatican City, so I couldn't confirm for myself, but someone had told me that it was either like one of the emperors of Rome or one of the popes. I don't know who it was, but apparently they didn't like how the sculptures had like you know how like old sculptures have penises on them?
Right.
Yeah, they didn't like that, so apparently they went around and like chopped the penises off all of them.
Oh my God.
So I kind of wish I was I could go back so I could see if that was actually true. But
That's
I
funny.
so let me know.
Okay.
I'm actually curious because I heard that after I left and I'm not sure if it's true. So someone please fact check me because I'm really
Okay.
not sure. But yeah, so that's Vatican City and that's pretty much all there is there. Their post office is a truck in the middle of the road. Like they are a country. They are considered a country. People do live there, but I think only like church people live there. I don't think actual
Mm.
like normal citizens live there.
Right.
But yeah, so that's pretty much the whole country of Vatican City.
Okay.
Yeah. And any questions about Rome, Vatican City?
Not really. No.
Yeah, so you could do it in like, I'd say 2 full days I'd give myself if you don't want to be
Right.
like rushing around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I think that's everything about everything we were going to discuss.
Right. Very nice.
So does this change your mind at all? Like, do you still want to go on this trip? Are you having second
I mean,
thoughts
it
still?
definitely gives me more information about it, and I do like the Rivieras. I don't know. I mean, I think it's really cool. I like maybe I'll just like stick with it. Um, but I feel like if something comes along that's a little bit more of the Rivieras, I think I would like consider it. But I do think it's a cool trip.
Yeah, I mean, you could always cancel the cruise and just do the Rivieras yourself and just stay there longer.
That's true. Yeah, or maybe just like find a cruise that like has like Rivieras, but maybe also like I don't know. I don't know. I have to like look into it more. I don't know. I still don't feel like that magic. But normally when I go on trips, I do feel that. Like I still feel excited about it a year out. Like I'm
Mm,
definitely excited about like Dominican Republic, Turks and Caicos, like super excited about that.
yeah.
And I'm excited about it, but I don't know. I just feel like if it's my honeymoon, I should be feeling like this is like the place I need to go to. And I feel like some places in it I do, but I don't know if overall I feel like it is. So I'll
Yeah,
have
I
to
do
like
get
really think
that.
about it. Yeah.
I get what you're saying because I definitely had that feeling in Florence and Rome where I was just like, okay, like I mean like those to
Right.
me are not honeymoon destinations, but the rest of the
Mm-hmm.
places are.
Yeah.
So, I mean that would
So it's
be
hard.
2 days of suffering. I mean, well, quote unquote suffering, like poor you have
I
to go
mean, how did
to.
you feel like before your South African trip? Like, let's say, like, whenever you booked it to whenever you went, like, how were you feeling?
Um, I mean, I had always wanted to go to South Africa ever since.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I just always wanted to go to Africa in general, but then because I always wanted to do safari, it was just always on my bucket list. And
Mm-hmm.
then when my husband Donato, I mean, we were not married at the time, we were in college and just dating, and he had gone to South Africa with his school and was sending me all these pictures, and I really just got so jealous. And I was like, how can
Mm.
you go there without me? So I
Yeah.
just ever since then I was like I have to go like I will not like I have to go. And
Right.
it was not your typical honeymoon trip. So it was definitely a different mindset because there was not really nothing romantic about it, but it was honestly more like exploring an adventure and somewhat culture. more so, a lot more so than romance. There was pretty much no romance at all.
Right.
Any romance we wanted, we had to make for ourselves, basically.
Yeah.
So it
Right.
was,
Yeah.
yeah, it was definitely, and like we went with a group also, and we were with the group the whole time, which, of course, obviously takes a little away from the romance too, because you're you're more in like a group of people that you're with every day, and it becomes more of a social situation as well, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I felt good about my honeymoon, and I still feel good about it. I'm glad we did it, but it was definitely like not the typical honeymoon, not the typical romantic vibe, but I'm still so glad we did it.
Right.
And I wouldn't
Yeah.
change it for anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, definitely a different situation though.
Right.
Yeah.
I just need to make sure I feel like that, like 100%, like it needs to be it, because like you only go on one honeymoon, you know?
Yeah. No, I totally get that. I
Like I
mean,
feel like if it was just a trip, I'd be like, cool. But if it's like a honeymoon destination, I just have to feel 100%.
I personally think that, I mean, in my eyes, romance was less important to me. It was more so honeymoon should be the place that it should be like the biggest trip of your life. So it should be the place that you've been wanting to go to your entire life. And for me, that was Africa.
Right. I mean, I feel like for me it's Italy, but I'm also like, you could go to Italy anytime later.
I mean, you could go to Africa anytime later too. I mean, you could go anywhere anytime.
I feel like Africa's a little bit more out of the box than
It was
Italy.
definitely expensive, but yeah, it'd be a
Yeah.
little harder to go to, but like, yeah, I mean, like my husband's been there twice. I mean, like
Yeah,
it's not
that's
doable, you know?
true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I just feel like it has to feel like it
Yeah.
more than anything. Like whether it's romantic or not, like you have to have that feeling.
I mean, I just think I think a lot of it could be nerves because even like my wedding, I just never had that feeling because it was just there was so much stress around everything with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I just think like a lot of the ideas that I had in my head that when I was a kid, I was like, oh, it's gonna be like this, it's gonna be magical, it's gonna be this. Like it wasn't. It was
It's not,
nice,
yeah.
but it's just
Yeah.
not that's not life, I guess. So I mean,
But I feel like I've had those moments where it's still magical. Like
yeah.
I loved our Bahamas trip.
Yeah. I mean,
I felt
yeah,
like that was magical.
just think on it. Maybe just focus on the places that you really want to go to. And I mean, maybe the
Yeah,
places that you
think
don't want
about
to go
it.
to will surprise you, you know, because I've been to places where I was like, nah, I don't know if I really want to go here. And I loved it, you know? So I just
Really.
think, yeah.
Okay.
So, you know, just keep an open mind, I guess. And I think like you have like 3 really good days in there of like the Naples, Amalfi Coast, Nice, and Marseille, and even Santa Margarita. That looks really beautiful too. I've never been there, but it kind of looks like what you're going for. So, I
Yeah.
mean, I personally would give it a shot, but I mean, of course,
Hmm.
if you're really, really not feeling it, then you should
Right.
think on that.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely something to think about.
But I mean, at the very least, I hoped we helped our listeners to figure out if this trip's right for them too. I mean,
Yeah, just like any one of those places, like if they were thinking about going to like Italy, France, Spain, like what to consider and
yeah, this
to go to.
because it's a big trip and it is I wouldn't say it can be once in a lifetime. I mean, I ha happened to do it several times, just I wound up in that situation, but for a lot of people it is once in a lifetime. And so you want
Yeah.
to make sure you're doing it right, you're going to the right places, and especially like as a honeymoon, yeah, that's a big thing. And
Yeah.
maybe you're just anxious, maybe I don't know. I think I would let things calm down in your life and then sit down and say like because you know I would just hate for you to not go to Italy just because of a weird feeling even though for years you've been telling me you wanted to go to Italy, you know.
Yeah. I just I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, think on it.
Yeah.
But
All
I
right.
think that's all. So any
That's all for
last
today.
final thoughts or
No, I mean, it looked really beautiful. I think this is definitely going to be an amazing trip for somebody out there. If you're considering going to all those places or even just one of those places, I think it's definitely worth looking into. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I hope we helped someone and I hope this gives you more to think on.
Yes,
Okay.
definitely does.
So are we ready for today's trivia question again?
Yeah, I mean, I'm ready, but not ready.
Not ready. Okay. Yeah, I mean, have you been thinking?
I've been
No.
thinking, but it's
Okay.
kind of hard.
Yeah. I mean, I think you have a chance to get it, but we're like in the ballpark, maybe.
Okay.
You might be able to get it.
Mm.
But so which city is called the vertical city?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like so hard to think for me because I feel like so many cities are vertical.
I mean, you
It's
could
like,
also give me a country. I mean, maybe I'll accept half credit for that. We'll see.
mm. Okay. I think it's hard because like I'm thinking of a place, it's probably not it, but then you're saying like a friend went there. I'm like, I don't think a friend went is going here. Um, so I think I'd need like a hint or something like
Well, what were you gonna
okay, I was gonna
uh,
say, but I don't think it's it just because of the friend thing.
okay,
But I
this
would
doesn't need to be
say,
your guess. This could just be like you thinking out loud.
okay,
Uh,
I was thinking like Tokyo or something like that. Just because I feel like they have like a lot of like cool like buildings going up, but I don't think a friend has is going there. Like
mm-hmm.
I feel like a friend is more likely to go to like France or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I don't want to say Paris because I feel like I've never heard anywhere in France being called the vertical city. So yeah, it's definitely like a lot of thoughts.
I feel like I've given you
Uh,
as many hints as I can without just completely giving it away.
right.
So, do you want to guess something or
Um, I feel like I'll guess something, but I know it's not right.
hmm
We'll just say Tokyo.
Okay. It's not Tokyo.
Yeah.
So, the correct answer is actually in Italy, and it's actually one of the places we talked about today. And it is Positano, so Amalfi Coast,
Oh,
because of the hills.
who's in the Amalfi Coast?
So Siobhan was there like a few weeks ago,
Oh, wow.
and I saw her pictures and she put that as her caption. And I was like, "Oh, I didn't know that was called the vertical city." And I looked it up and I was like, "Oh, that really makes
Good.
sense because like it's all on a hill."
That makes a lot of sense. I was thinking of somewhere in Italy. I was thinking like Pisa, and I was like, but I feel like that building's not that tall to be. Yeah, I completely didn't even think. I didn't think to incorporate nature.
Yeah,
Like
so
I
you
was
were
just
thinking
thinking
more
in terms of
buildings.
skyscrapers. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's really interesting. I like that one.
Yeah, so that's why I said you kind of had a chance to get it because we were like talking about the place today. So I was like, maybe
Yeah,
she'll put two and two together.
that's a good
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
So
All
maybe
right.
if you wind up there, you'll know you're in the vertical city.
Yes. Very
Yes.
good.
All right. So, but I think that is all.
All right.
So let me say my spiel. I'm just a mess today. Okay, here is my here is the spiel. Okay. So if you want to find us online, you could go to www.runwaysandbyways.com. You could sign up for our budget travel planner and newsletter. And in doing so, you will get a budget travel planner with 30 pages of tips and tricks and templates for you to plan out your budget travel trip. And you could also sign up for podcast notifications under the podcast tab, and you'll be notified every single time we post a podcast episode. We also have travel planning services such as Choose My Destination, recommendations, and advice. If you want to find us on social media, you could find us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Pinterest, and Threads, all at Runways and Byways. Or you could find us on Twitter at Runways and Byways, although I think Twitter is actually called X now. But I don't know. If you go to Twitter, it still comes up. I don't know. I'm not getting involved in that. But Twitter at Runways and Byways. And then podcast availability. We're on Spotify and Spotify for podcasters, Anchor, which is now Spotify for podcasters. I don't know, confusing. We're on both though. Apple and YouTube and Google Podcasts. So I think that is all. See, all these
All
websites
right.
are changing their like names and merging and unmerging, and I'm like, I don't even know what we're on anymore.
Yeah.
Got to change my spiel to reflect that. I don't know. It's a mess. Anyways, so yeah, I hope this was an informative episode. I think it was for you. I think you could start thinking more. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think that's everything, right?
It's everything for me.
Yeah. All right. So we'll see you next time on the next episode of the Runways and Byways Travel Podcast. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Whether your plane is taking off from the runway,
Or you're driving down a byway
we'll be your guides.
through it all.